Hello friends, welcome back to Jim O'Rear's Wacky World. Today, we are celebrating the 65th anniversary of Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's classic film about shower-related trauma, mother issues, and why you should always check Yelp reviews before booking a motel. That's right, 65 years ago, Hitchcock single-handedly changed cinema forever by convincing people that bathing is a death sentence. Now, before I dive into this, I gotta be honest. I was never really a huge fan of the original Psycho. Gasp, I know. Film buffs everywhere just clutch their pearls. But don't get me wrong. I respect what it did for horror and for the industry overall. I mean, it's just that I always enjoyed some of the sequels more. Yeah, that's right. I liked Psycho 2 better. I even enjoyed Bates Motel, the TV series. And before you call me a blasphemer, let me remind you, I was actually a small part of the Psycho franchise when I worked on Psycho 4. So that means I am legally allowed to have an opinion. Look it up. So, Psycho, a little indie flick from some obscure guy named Alfred Hitchcock. It was based on a novel by Robert Bloch, which was inspired by the life of real-life Wisconsin weirdo and DIY enthusiast Ed Gein. Now, when I say DIY enthusiast, I mean that in the worst way possible. I mean, this guy was out here treating human remains like an arts and crafts project, making furniture out of bones, lampshades out of skin. Basically the Martha Stewart of serial killers. Now, Bloch, who lived just 40 miles away from Ed Gein's little house of horrors, decided to write a book loosely based on him. And Hitchcock, the king of suspense, or depending on who you ask, the king of making actresses miserable, turned that book into Psycho. Now, the film was a huge departure from Hitchcock's previous work, like North by Northwest, which is actually my favorite Hitchcock movie. But instead of planes chasing Cary Grant through cornfields, we got a cross-dressing, mother-obsessed motel owner stabbing people in showers. So, very different vibes indeed. Now, we can't talk about Psycho without talking about that shower scene. You know the one, the reason your grandma still showers with the door open. It was shocking, groundbreaking, and fun fact, it was made up of over 50 cuts and took 7 days to film. Janet Leigh, who played Marion Crane, actually postponed shooting it twice, once because of a cold, and once because, well, let's just say, it was bad timing for a woman to shoot a scene that involved a lot of water. And if you think the stabbing sound in that scene was made using actual stabbing noises, well, think again. Hitchcock's sound team got creative and stabbed melons instead. That's right. One of the most terrifying sounds in horror history was brought to you by Cantaloupe Homicide. Before Psycho, horror films were more about gothic mansions, vampires in capes, and guys named Boris Karloff looking menacing. But Psycho was different. It was psychological horror, it was modern, and it terrified people. It basically gave birth to the slasher genre, paving the way for films like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and every movie where teenagers decide it's a good idea to split up and investigate that creepy sound. It also pushed the limits of what was allowed in film at the time. Psycho was the first major Hollywood movie to show a toilet flushing on screen. That's right. In 1960, seeing a toilet in action was considered scandalous. Imagine explaining that to someone today. Yeah, we weren't freaked out by the whole murder thing, but that flushing toilet, whoo, outrageous. Of course, after Hitchcock passed, Hollywood did what Hollywood does best. Make sequels that no one asked for. But surprisingly, some of them were actually good. Psycho 2 is my favorite. It was written by Tom Holland, not Spider-Man, different guy, and picks up 22 years later with Norman Bates trying to go straight. But shocker, murder just keeps happening around him. Then there was Psycho 3, which Anthony Perkins directed himself and takes place 1 month after Psycho 2. And finally, Psycho 4: The Beginning, a TV movie that gave us young Norman Bates' backstory. And it gave me the chance to be part of the Psycho legacy. That's right, as I mentioned before, I got to work on Psycho 4 for Universal Studios in Orlando, which is honestly more of an honor than I probably deserve. Then, decades later, we got Bates Motel, the modern-day prequel series that took some liberties with the original source material. And you know what? I actually enjoyed it way more than the original film. Yeah, fight me, okay? It was weird, creepy, and had some fantastic performances. Plus, it gave us Norman Bates rocking a taxidermy hobby and severe mommy issues in high definition. And what more could you want? So here we are, 65 years after Psycho first made audiences scream, ruined showers for generations, and changed horror forever. Love it or not, you can't deny its impact. It was a game changer, a cultural reset, and a reminder that if a motel is too cheap, there's probably a reason. So what do you think? Is Psycho a masterpiece? Are the sequels underrated? Should we be more concerned that Ed Gein inspired so many movies? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more weird horror-filled nonsense from Jim O'Rear's Wacky World. So thanks for watching, and just maybe lock the bathroom door tonight?